Hey y'all, it's Jazz, your fave mental health enthusiast, and welcome back to Jazz's Corner, where we discuss all things related to mental wellness. So in today's video, we're going to be chatting a bit about comparing yourself to others. And that includes, where does the need for comparison stem from? What are some of the downsides of comparing yourself to others? And I'm also going to provide some tips on how to kind of stop that process of comparing yourself to others. So if this is your first time visiting this channel, welcome! I'm Jazz, as I mentioned before, and if this is not your first time, then welcome back. I hope that you like today's video and consider liking and subscribing. Thank you. So where does the need for comparison stem from? Well, it actually stems from a bunch of different places and a bunch of different influences. One being social comparison theory, which is a theory by the social psychologist Leon Festinger. And this theory says that people engage in comparison as a way to evaluate themselves. And if you think about it, it actually kind of makes a lot of sense, because we are very social beings, and so we tend to look to others to see if we are doing things correctly or doing things right. So for example, if I am in an unfamiliar setting, then I might look to someone who is more familiar with that setting to see kind of what are some of the mannerisms that they're displaying, what are they saying, how are they conducting themselves, and then I will try to act accordingly, if that makes sense. In addition to social comparison theory, comparison also serves as a way for us to examine our goals and aspirations in the context of others. And this is where culture can play a really huge role, because culture really informs how we grow up in society. It informs what we value, what we don't value, kind of what we do. And so if in your culture success looks a certain way, then there will be greater pressure for you to try and achieve that ideal, and you'll find yourself comparing to others who have met that ideal of success. Now you might be asking yourself, if comparison is such a standard part of human life, then why do I feel so bad when I compare myself to others? And to that I say, there's always the downside of comparing yourself to others. So for starters, engaging in comparison can really impact your self-esteem, and it can feed insecurities about whether you feel as though you are enough. It can also make you feel as if you are missing out if you haven't hit certain milestones in your life and you're witnessing that those around you have hit those milestones. Comparison can skew your ideas about what is best for you, because let me tell you, comparison will have you spending all of your golden years chasing dreams that do not belong to you, because in actuality, they are someone else's goals and aspirations that might have been projected onto you. Think about that. And let's not forget about a really big downside to comparison, which is that it can promote competitiveness and jealousy. If you're comparing yourselves to your friends and family, it can breed resentment and regret, because now you're walking around feeling like, why haven't I achieved that yet? And it'll have you looking at your loved ones sideways, when in all honesty, really try to reflect on, is this what you actually want? And do you feel like you've made some progress towards that? Or do you feel like you are trying to cram yourself into a lane that is not truly your lane? So how do we stop engaging in comparison? Well, first things first, be the realist. Just kidding. But definitely take note of your progress and kind of reflect on your journey and think about how far you've come. You might not be where you want to be just yet, but you are also much further along than when you first started. Also, show yourself compassion and empathy. And by that, I mean just be kind and gentle with yourself while you're on your journey. Show yourself kindness, love, compassion, and just know that you will probably get to where you want to be in terms of your goals. So if you're starting at season 1, it's okay, because you're going to get renewed for season 2. and then season 3, and then season 4, and then it's going to be like The Bold and the Beautiful, where you're still going like 50 years later. So think about it like this: life is a marathon, and it's always a good day to get started on your goals. Something else you can do is to limit your social media exposure, because there is an endless sea of people that we can compare ourselves to on social media. And I understand that a lot of the time you like to look to social media as a source of inspiration that says, hey, there's this person in the world who has achieved what I want to achieve. But a lot of the time we don't get to know kind of the ins and outs of their journeys. We only really see the highs, but not that many people are willing to show the lows of that journey as well. So if you're following someone and you don't really get a sense of their full journey, the ups and the downs, and it's making you feel kind of negatively about yourself, then maybe just kind of take a step away and remember that life requires balance. For every good thing that they have achieved in terms of their journey, there's also probably been like 5 different bad things. So yeah. Also consider evaluating your motivation, because if your motivations are more external in nature, as in you are seeking validation from others, then those motivations might be providing more fear of failure than support. And what I mean by that is, if you feel like, oh, if I don't do this correctly, then it's the end of the world, then that's a tall order, buddy. Those are some big shoes to fill. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to put yourself through that. It is okay to just kind of lighten your load a little bit. So those are my tips, and I hope that they're helpful to you. But I just want to take a moment and talk about how ultimately you are enough. And sometimes we navigate life thinking that we're not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, handsome enough, wealthy enough, and all of the enoughs just beat us down to the point where we don't understand how awesome we are, because we're so focused on our shortcomings. And I will tell you here right now, you heard it on this channel, that being enough is a scam. Like, they're really out here scamming us, talking about being enough. Because if the standard of whatever you're trying to reach is right here, and you're starting from here, by the time you make it here, if you ever make it here, because the deck is stacked against us, then they've already moved it up here. Like, there's no actual being enough, because the trends are always changing. What's in is then out, what's out is then in. It's an endless cycle, like I mentioned earlier. With that being said, I like to end with this thought: no one has navigated life quite like you. There may have been many similarities, but ultimately life is like one of those choose your own adventure books. I used to love reading those books when I was little, and there's so many choices to choose from. So I hope that you don't spend all of your choices worrying about whether you are enough. So this concludes another video, and I'm so thankful that you tuned in. I hope that you enjoyed and that you learned something new, and I'd love to hear down in the comments below, what are your thoughts about comparison? Have you found yourself comparing yourself to others, and how did you feel about that? Did you feel that it wasn't really serving you, or did it serve as kind of like a motivator? Did you resonate with some of the things I said in this video? I would love to hear about all of that down below, and I'd also love if you gave this video a like and subscribe to join the virtual party, so that we can just have a subscriber base of individuals who are really into mental wellness and positivity. Next week, I'm going to be talking about signs of an unhealthy friendship or relationship, and I'm also going to be talking about dealing with rejection. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely tune in, and I'll see you then, I guess. My upload schedule will be on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and so my mental wellness content will be on the weekdays, so Tuesday and Thursday, and then Saturdays will be for something a little lighter. So I'm really into fashion, so I would like to make some lookbooks for you all, and I'm also learning Korean, so I would love to share kind of my updates in my journey as I progress through this channel. So I'd love it if you checked out some of that content as well. Also, before I forget, I'm gonna put my Instagram right here if you'd like to follow along with Instagram shenanigans. I mainly just want to post uplifting content that will serve as kind of like a bright spot for your timeline whenever you are on social media. And with that being said, jazz out. Don't forget to drink some water and give yourself a hug. Have a great rest of your day.